Hey guys, what's going on? Tony here, CCxRC, and today on the bench we have the Arrma Granite 4x4 BLX, and from time to time, guys, you're going to have something go wrong with these. You're going to have to get them on the bench. You're going to have to work on them. So we want to show you how to replace the steering block on the Arrma Granite 4x4 BLX, as well as a little tip on how to maybe secure the wires, so I have an idea of what I'm going to do with that. And we're going to do it right after the break. All right, so it never fails. You get out on the trails, you're bashing, you're going hard. Even a tough truck like this one has a brake point, and it usually is a weird, awkward landing. And so I've busted the steering block that goes inside of the carrier hub here, which is a really easy fix, and that's not anything that you have to worry about. And we're going to show you how easy it is, show you some of the tools that you'll need to do it, and then also how we're going to kind of make a little way to route the cables here. So I went on and I bought the new steering blocks, which are part AR330469. And so it comes with a right and a left steering block in here. A tool that you're going to need is a 7mm wrench here to take the nut off the wheel. It comes with a red plastic one. I was stripping it out. These were on so tight, so a lot of other trucks come with a little tool like this that you can use. I prefer this. I got it really cheap on Amazon, just a nice little wrench. And I got it basically because it would fit inside of the Proline rims for my monster trucks, because it has a very narrow part to it. So a couple things that we're going to do. It's not a whole lot, guys. So that was the first part, is we're going to take off the wheel. And so with the wheel off, we can see our broken part right here. And so it broke away at the bottom. And so we've got two screws here and one over here that we're going to have to deal with, as well as pulling some of these pieces out in order to get in there and get at it. So let's do it. The first wrench you're going to need is a 2.5mm hex wrench or Allen wrench. And we're going to take off the top and bottom screws here. So there's one. And up underneath the bottom here, I've already taken this one out. And my broken piece here, you can see what broke off of our steering block. There was the bottom part, which is why we were able to keep bashing for so long, because we only broke away this bottom, but the top was holding on strong even though we kept bashing it really hard. So a couple more things we're going to have to do. So that's two of the 2.5. The other one looks like it's probably a 2mm. And so the top one here is a 2mm hex. Now these do come with Allens that are L-shaped that come with the car. I prefer these because they're just easier to work on when you're able to just twist them like a screwdriver and not have to spin that around. So it's just so much faster and a lot easier on you when you're working on them to have a little bit nicer tool. So investing in something like these are the Dubro ones. I got these at Hobbytown. But I find that they get really small on a very popular size. So this is the 2mm size, and the handle difference, you really can't wrench on this one very well. So I prefer the cheaper ones here that I got from Amazon. All right, so now that we have our steering block off, we're just gonna have to pull this piece off. It should have another little hex in here holding this on. It's going to be another size. Let's guess a 1.5mm. Yep, that's what we've got, a 1.5mm. So we're going to back this out, which will allow us to remove this hex and the pin here to be able to push this drive shaft out. Now we do have to get these bearings out, which both were very easy to pop out. All right, so there's my mess. You know, I've got something that I should be using for this. I have a magnetic mat, but it's not out because we've been wrapping presents here on this table. So I'm just kind of going without it, even though it'd be nicer if I had it. So a lot of times these are labeled which side they're for. A lot of times I just match them up and make sure I have the same part. And I do. So just gonna put these, reseat these bearings in here. You could re-grease them if you wanted to. I'm not going to right now. Then you just slide this back in like so. Your drive shaft goes in. Then you've got to put this pin back through the end of the drive shaft. And you can see there's a little hole. It just slides right in there and holds, because that's what we're going to put this hex on. Like so. Like so. Now, the thing to be aware of is this grub screw is metal going into metal. And when we do that, we want to put some blue Loctite on it. You can get brands of this, all different kinds. This is the kind you get at a hobby shop a lot of times, and it'll have their branding on it. But you can just get something from Home Depot or Walmart or whatever to use. But you want to put it on this grub screw because it's going metal into metal, and it will help keep it in place. Metal into plastic does not require it, just when you have a metal screw or grub screw like this going into metal. So we'll firm it on there, firm it up, good to go. So we just have to line this back up with the drive shaft. So you want to put that on like so, fits it on the drive shaft. There's a little, you can't really see it in here very well, but there's a divot down in here that we're going to have to work this into. So let me see if I turn it sideways for you guys. A lot of times you can also use your tire to prop up the truck like so, and that helps keep it up and give you some room to work. All right, so you got to be careful because this little spacer here can fall out. It goes up underneath on the inside and pushes in right here. So it's on the inside of this piece, and that's what your screw is going to go through. And so you're going to want to make sure you have that up and in there. Sometimes a little grease on it will help it hold. I'm just going to kind of hold it up there with my finger until I can get these in place. Maybe even I'll use this wrench to hold it until I can get one. There's also one in the bottom, but that one didn't fall out on me. So there we go. We just popped it back in place very simply. And now we're just going to thread our screws in here with our 2.5 millimeter again. And I like to do these ones first before I attach the steering, just because it allows me to have a little bit more movement with it and to work it. So there's one. The other thing that I use a lot of the time, and you can look for these, are these wrenches here that go into a battery-powered screwdriver that I got. It's a Black & Decker. I just picked it up at Walmart and then bought these attachments for, so I can just quickly drive one of these in like so. Now I'm always careful I don't go all the way because I don't want to strip it, and so I do the last bit by hand, but makes quick work of working with these kind of things. So last piece is going to be attaching our steering. Well, not the last piece, we still have to do the wheel. Has to go back on. There we go. And this was our 2 millimeter wrench. You can see how much slower this is. It's not bad though. Could be a lot worse. All right, and so then the last part is to put the wheel back on. Just gonna line up the hex here with the wheel hex, like so. Then drop it back into your tool. Just line it up and screw it on. Now this, you can use Loctite on as well, and actually I would recommend it. So I'm gonna pull it back out. Put a little Loctite in there. And this will just make sure that the wheel nut does not go flying off. Embarrassingly, it has happened to me too many times when I forget to put blue Loctite on there. All right, so the last thing that we wanted to address with this truck was this crazy amount of wire that they give you with it, which is great. Don't get me wrong, we like our wires, but we just want to kind of keep them away from everything so they don't get all torn up. And so what I'm thinking about doing is just drilling a hole in here that I can put a zip tie through. So I just need a big enough drill bit to allow me to do it. So it's got it on here. Probably drill right about here to keep some strength in it. There we go. Hit the heat sink there. Oops. And that's going to allow me to run a zip tie that can just pull all of this right down on the inside here, keeping it so that it's not moving so much and it's not rubbing on the heat sink and not getting all jammed up on the body. So that's just a quick, simple fix for that. And just like that, she's back and good to go. This is a beast of a truck. I highly recommend this for $300. It's hard to find a better basher, tougher basher. I mean, I did break it, but I was doing things with this that I don't do with a lot of my RC cars, with all of the flips and the big ramps that I was throwing it off of. So again, to recap, we replaced the steering block. We removed 4 screws, a 2.5 on the top and bottom of the carrier hub here, and then the steering block pulled out, and we had to take it off of the steering arm here, and that was a 2mm Allen, and then we needed a 1.5 on that little hex on the wheel to be able to slide that through. Super simple, easy fix, guys. You can do it with very little effort to get these back up and running if you break that. Replacing the A-arms is just as easy. All of these wrenches are just to show you the different types of ways that you can or tools that you can use when you're working on these cars. So they do the same job. Some make it easier than others, and you definitely want to get yourself some of this blue Loctite because it will save the day a lot of the times. We also gave you that little tip at the end for tying up your wires. So thanks for tuning in, guys. I hope this was helpful to those of you who are new to the RC hobby and want to start working on your trucks because you're taking them out and you're having fun with them, which means that eventually things break. So I'll be doing some upgraded parts to this. You can go and check out Rich Duper Bash, who's been doing some amazing upgrades on his, and he's just killing it with his Granite 4x4. So make sure you go over there and check out his videos, guys. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time. Have fun RCing, guys.